Inside ISIS, the hidden system of control you were never shown. Amid the burning cities of Syria and Iraq, a force rose from the chaos. A force so violent, so unrestrained, and so ideologically extreme that even groups already infamous for brutality rejected them. This was ISIS, a movement that transformed civil war into a nightmare of executions, slavery, genocide, and fear so overwhelming that entire armies collapsed at the sight of their black flags. Today, we're going deep into one of the darkest chapters of modern history, the rise of the so-called Islamic State, the terror they unleashed, and the horrifying reality endured by the people trapped under their rule. This story exposes the cruelty, the system behind their power, and their violent collapse. If you want more intense historical breakdowns like this one, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next chapter in history's darkest pages. To understand how this group rose, we begin with its origins. Long before the world knew their name, the organization existed as a small, fractured faction in Iraq. For years, regional instability, foreign intervention, and internal divisions kept them weak. But when the conflict in Syria erupted, everything changed. Borders dissolved, towns lost their leadership, and entire regions became battlegrounds for competing militias. Into this vacuum stepped a new force, one that promised order, purity, and absolute authority. What they brought instead was a rigid system of control enforced through fear. Leadership played a major role in this transformation. Under Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the organization shifted from a struggling group into a territorial force with a centralized vision. They no longer operated like a hidden militia. They acted like a self-declared state. They gathered fighters from across the region, enforced strict codes of conduct, and spread propaganda to attract recruits. Their message was simple but powerful. Join us, or be seen as an obstacle. In areas where government institutions had collapsed, some communities were left with few choices. By 2014, the group controlled large parts of Iraq and Syria. They seized major cities, oil fields, and supply routes. Their expansion was not just military, it was administrative. They created courts, tax systems, patrol units, local police, religious enforcement groups, and media outlets. They published videos, magazines, and online campaigns designed to portray themselves as a functioning state. This ability to blend ideology with organization made them different from many other militant groups. Inside the areas they controlled, daily life changed instantly. People were subject to strict codes that regulated clothing, behavior, speech, and even movement. Women faced some of the harshest restrictions, limited freedom, enforced dress codes, and social rules designed to eliminate independence. Men were also monitored, often required to attend mandatory sessions, follow precise schedules for prayer, and obey rules regarding personal conduct. Any deviation risked punishment under their version of religious law. One of the most devastating aspects of their rule was their treatment of minority communities. Many groups had lived in the region for centuries: Christians, Yazidis, Turkmen, Assyrians, Shabaks, and others. Under the new regime, these communities were suddenly labeled as outsiders. Many were forced to flee, abandoning homes and livelihoods. Those who could not escape faced immense pressure, forced displacement, forced conversions, and the destruction of cultural sites. Entire neighborhoods emptied overnight as people fled toward mountains, deserts, and foreign borders. The Yazidi community suffered especially heavily. The group targeted them specifically because of their unique religious beliefs. Thousands fled toward Mount Sinjar with no supplies, no water, and no access to medical care. Many spent days trapped on the mountain before Kurdish forces and international allies intervened. While the rescue operation saved countless lives, the trauma left deep wounds that continue to affect Yazidi families worldwide today. Funding was a major pillar of the organization's power. Unlike many extremist groups that rely solely on outside donations, this one built a financial system that resembled an actual government. They collected taxes, charged fees on transportation routes, controlled grain depots, and managed water resources. But their most significant source of income came from oil. They operated dozens of makeshift refineries and sold crude oil to smugglers, who then transported it through black market routes. These transactions were dangerous, unregulated, and harmful to the environment, yet they generated millions of dollars that sustained the organization's rule. As airstrikes intensified and territories were liberated, these sources of revenue shrank. Oil fields were destroyed, border routes were blocked, banks that once held seized cash were retaken. With each financial hit, their ability to operate as a state weakened. To compensate, they turned increasingly to illicit trade, drug trafficking, smuggling networks, and the sale of stolen artifacts. Many priceless archaeological pieces disappeared from ancient sites, later appearing in black market auctions or private collections overseas. The organization also weaponized media. They produced high-quality propaganda designed to intimidate opponents and attract foreign recruits. Their content was carefully edited to exaggerate their strength and create the illusion of unstoppable momentum. Many recruits who traveled from abroad later revealed that the reality was far different from what they were shown online. Misery, hunger, infighting, and constant surveillance dominated daily life in the so-called caliphate. As the world united against them, coalition forces, Kurdish units, Iraqi troops, and local militias launched coordinated operations. From Mosul to Raqqa, city after city was liberated. The battles were intense, but slowly, the group lost territory, fighters, funding, and the ability to govern. By late 2017, their control in Iraq collapsed. By early 2019, their last major stronghold in Syria, Baghouz, fell after a long and difficult campaign. Civilians fled in large numbers, and many fighters surrendered. Others attempted to escape across the desert or blend into refugee camps. The dream of a territorial caliphate was over. Yet, even without territory, the organization did not disappear. Its ideology continued to spread through online networks. Affiliated groups in Africa and Asia carried out attacks in their name. Lone wolf individuals, radicalized through the internet, committed violence in places far from the Middle East. The group's reach became more decentralized, more fragmented, but still dangerous. Today, the world faces a new challenge. Not a territorial empire, but a scattered movement shaped by online recruitment, hidden cells, and ideological persistence. Intelligence agencies across the world monitor these networks, disrupt plots, and try to prevent the resurgence of large-scale organization. But the scars left behind, destroyed cities, displaced families, broken communities, remain. The story of this organization is not just about battles. It is about how extreme ideology, regional instability, financial opportunity, and propaganda combine to create one of the most influential extremist movements of modern times. And it is a reminder that even when the physical territory is gone, the ideas can linger unless societies remain vigilant, informed, and united. If you want more deep dives into conflicts, leaders, and events that shaped our world in ways both shocking and unforgettable, don't forget to subscribe. More powerful stories are coming.